here's sort of a beautiful scene. But then you see all the buildings. It's actually highly dense buildings, dense construction, and although it looks natural, it's largely man-made with few trees from long ago and a lot of plants that were brought in, which is good. Plants are good, but the overcrowding and the overconstruction, which is well over 50% of the ground is covered with concrete, is just terrible, and it's, even though it looks nice, but you've got to reset your thinking. What looks even nicer is natural areas where we can have natural space for plants and animals, and what we need for a sustainable planet. And also, that's not our only problem. Overconstruction and overcrowding isn't the only problem with things, life today, at least in many places in the United States. We have people that they don't get enough exercise because they're indoors. The only comfortable space is inside, and so then they have worse health. They don't get along with, they're so crowded inside their living space that they don't get along. Families break up, and also it encourages, well, the cost of everything is higher because of overcrowding. So the land is in demand, raises prices, and so people have to work more. Then you have most parents, or many parents, they both need to work outside of the home, and then you have breakups of families, and so, you know, you lose your happiness with all this overcrowding. And I'm not saying everybody, but many millions of people, because we're just packed, and we don't have the yards. We have tall buildings. Look at this, you know. So think about that. People living in 1- or 2-story homes with yards and gardens, those are the people that have much more stable life, much better, happier, more healthy, because you're out there gardening, taking care. And when emergencies come along, you can grow food right there, you know. People might say, oh, I can grow food on my little balcony, but you cannot grow enough food to survive. No. Anyway, that's the topic today. Thank you for watching the Excellent Universe channel. It gives you all sorts of ideas and many topics, and please comment below. If you're watching and you like the video and you're saying, oh, I want to subscribe to this, if you're going to subscribe or click like or whatever, also make a comment of whether you agree, why you agree. If you have other thoughts, disagree, please comment. Okay, thank you, because I know I've got my subscribers out there. You can watch all my videos when you click, if you're not familiar with YouTube, you click on the Excellent Universe down there and you can see the other videos. If you click on the thumbs up, that helps other people to see the videos and helps good ideas spread. And I'm talking about improving the world, improving people's lives and happiness. Imagine if we had much more space, you didn't have to worry about crime as much, although I'm not saying it's ever going to get to be impossible, but, you know, like much less likely to have crime if we improve things so well. Less pollution, more healthy environments, air and water, and so you don't have to constantly be worrying. I know a lot of people are saying, is this food that I'm eating right now, did I wash it properly? Is it safe? Was it grown organically? You know, what about the chemicals they used to grow this if it was organic? There are natural chemicals that are not even healthy. So a lot of people, there are many worries in the world. What I'm saying is we need to improve things, drastically, and we can if we just think about it. Many people take action, and so we can have a better life. That's why I called this the Excellent Universe channel. So as I said, thank you very much. If you like it, do a thumbs up and subscribe. So but back to the topic of how overcrowding, basically we have failed to provide people with enough information and resources and sort of a culture that says, okay, you know, we don't want land and housing to be so expensive, so don't have so many children. We need to reduce the amount. Now, I say we have failed, but right now people are succeeding because the harmful trend has turned around. So much so that other people are freaking out, like, oh my gosh, we're not going to have enough children, it's going to be terrible. And old people don't have enough young people to support them, and therefore we're going to have a systemic collapse. You know, if you think that, it's because you think government needs to support people. How about people support people? Families support people. Private charities support people. And if it comes to it, when somebody's old, they should have been saving and developing resources and being part of a charity so that they have resources. And they might need to rent space, or they can, if they own a place to live, they could get money and resources by renting that space, and so therefore they can have fine time in their retirement and not be such a burden. And so I understand people are worried that there's going to be a financial burden of too many old people, but it's only a burden if they aren't prepared. So we just need to have a culture where people prepare and during their working years, and just say like, okay, well, in some places old people are like community, they still have a job because they're so old. Maybe they can hardly move, but they can be there as security. Not exactly as you think of a security guard, but they can be sedentary security. They're not running around catching criminals, but just being in a place with a telephone, and they should be capable enough. Most people, I'm not saying everybody, but most people could be capable enough of providing security, and it would be a wonderful thing considering how much crime we have, because we're not taking care of our society properly. So we got a lot of crime. That's another thing. When we have so much population and we didn't plan properly, it's very crowded. And some people say, oh, well, you have a lot more crime in the uncrowded places. Well, I don't think so. I think there are certain cities where you have terrible crime rates. Look into Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles. And I would say crime rates in these areas are way higher than rural areas. You got a lot of peaceful times. Yes, there's crime, and I believe drug use is one thing that, frankly, probably because people feel bored or isolated in rural areas like farm areas or natural places, more natural places outside of cities. So you have crime, drug crime, but I would say other kinds of crime probably a lot lower. And definitely people, if they're not driving around everywhere, they can be outdoors having a healthy lifestyle. And so we have to consider that, that because we've vastly overcrowded places, that we have a lot of improvement and something to look forward to as we do reduce. And it seems like right now we are reducing how many people we have, at least in the United States. So over time we can look forward to going down, and tearing down tall buildings as they get too old and they're not safe anymore, and turn this back into parkland. So take a look. That's a view, and these buildings eventually will wear out, hopefully. And as I said, it's like could be 90% paved in this area, and it's not good. Not good. We have a lot of crime here, a lot of theft, and so, for example, if you leave a bicycle out, there's so many bicycle thieves. They will even steal parts of your bicycle here, and I live in a city, yes. It's not quite 1 million people, but you might tell me, move to a small town, that's gonna be nicer. Well, that's not gonna solve all the problems of this city, and it's not gonna reduce the population. So I might eventually move, but I'm just saying, in general, we have a lot of improvement to do. And because we have so many people, it raises the cost. When you have so much demand, you always have a limited supply of housing. I'm talking about housing demand because we didn't plan population planning very well. We did actually drastically bad job of it. Paved the planet, which is a disaster. Built high-rises, which are disasters. And we're so crowded. We have right now a pandemic in 2021, and so we have all these terrible diseases which spread so easily due to overcrowding. And you know, so there are a lot of problems that we've allowed, and we can do much better. And the first part of it is thinking about it, and once you realize that it's true and things can be much better, we also need to reduce poverty, and so we can do a lot better. And I advocate doing it through private institutions and charities and through private education. Of course, since we have public education, hopefully they teach these ideas too. But I don't like monopoly anything. Having a central government education, national education, is a recipe for disaster, because once you allow the government to control what people learn, it's a way of controlling them in a negative way. And if you have bad leadership, you can have a disaster, huge disaster where millions of people starve, or you have some kind of war, and it's just bad. So keep things separate. It's a great reason to have separate states, okay? And with a lot less people, gradually in the future, through peaceful means, non-violent means, to have a lower population. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and please do what you can to reduce and promote everybody to realize how crowded and all the problems that we have, health problems, because we're not getting enough exercise. We don't have the yard work that we used to have, you know, cutting the grass or taking care of the animals, because a lot of people can't even have pets and animals where they live, because we don't have these single 1- and 2-story homes with yards. That's what we need. It promotes good families and good children, lower crime. Anyway, thank you. Take care. See you next time.